everyone. Ashley May, Mike Beer here with the Daily Racing Forum, taking a look at the Wednesday race, the day for July 9th. We'll go out to Canterbury Park. They have an 8-race program. We'll focus in on race number 5, which is going to kick off their late pick 4. It's a 7-furlong event on the dirt allowance optional claiming competition. And it's a field of 8, Mike, but in terms of the morning line, I know it's pretty close. There's not a lot of separation, but that's sort of how the field feels as well.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how they bet it. I won't argue too hard with the 2 Armaduro being the morning line favorite. His last race was pretty good. He's a prior stakes winner. I still think the 3 classifies the horse to beat, and I don't think you're getting 9-2 on him in this race.
We'll take a look at the Timeform US pace projection for this event, and says it favors front runners in terms of where we could see the speed coming from. The 7 Sir Sterling, who has been forward in some of those trips, wasn't the case 2 starts back, but most recently came up a little bit short behind Armaduro. The 1 on the inside, Coastal Kid. I know those races went quick, but he was still kind of struggling early to keep with them. I think it belongs more to the 7, if anything.
Yeah, the 7. Yeah, I agree. The 7 does have speed, and I thought the 7 actually ran at least as well as Armaduro did last time, going 7 furlongs on a competitive pace that day. And maybe he'll get a better trip this time. I'm not sure about that. I don't want to go back to classify again, but you're going to get more speed out of that horse this time too. I don't think he's going to be, sort of sitting mid-pack in here.
All right, we'll jump right into it here with the number 1 Coastal Kid, who's been chasing the pace in those last 2, and they have been sub 45 halves in both of those races, but has been 4th best. You mentioned the name Classify. He was the runner-up in the most recent outing. He's just tough. I mean, he's inconsistent. A lot of force as you go down the page, Mike.
Yeah, it doesn't win often enough for me. It kind of feels like he lands in another tough spot here. His last 2 races in this condition at this track, and he just, wasn't good enough either time, Ashley. He's also a horse who likes to be forward, and he's got the rail with speed to his outside here. He's a good price on the morning line. There were too many things I didn't like about him.
The 2 Armaduro you mentioned is 5-2 on the morning line. We'll take a look at his most recent performance from mid-June. Came locally at Canterbury, just his 2nd appearance over this surface. And in terms of his effort, I thought it was a big one. He's obviously gotten some pace help in here, and he's able to rally late, and he needs every inch of real estate at the 7/8 distance to do it. But in terms of his late turn of foot, this is a really solid effort. As you mentioned, the runner-up ran well too.
Runner-up did all the dirty work up front here, but he's begging for the wire at the end here, and he just can't quite get there. Armaduro, he ran really well in there, actually, but he also, at least in my opinion, got a really good trip in there. And it did feel like the 7 furlongs worked to his advantage, and so he gets to go that distance again here. I'm not knocking this horse. I know that he could win. He should be one of the favorites in here, but, again, I'm not sure he ran that much better than Sir Sterling last time, and he's going to be a much shorter price again.
The 3 Classify up next in the field was 2nd last time out behind Street Warrior. It was a good effort. He obviously took a big step forward in his 2nd start off the claim. And you go down the page, Mike, you mentioned he's probably the horse to beat in a lot of ways in terms of the level of competition that he's carried in the past. If I'm going to knock him, he does not win a lot.
Doesn't win a lot. That is something that you have to be concerned about with him. He's faced really, really tough competition. Listen, ultimately, you probably don't want to claim too many horses off of Saffie Joseph. But listen, this trainer, Mac Robinson, he knows what he's doing. He wins at a high percentage too. I would just say, as far as Classify goes, his last race is fine. He got wired by the even money favorite in there. There was nothing wrong with that performance on a wet track. 2 back, his first start off the claim. He was a really short price, and he finished behind a couple of these horses. He had an absolutely brutal trip in that race. And I just think you're supposed to give him a pass for that. He should be more forward in here. I think he's going to be pretty tough.
The 4 10th Street Dawn, big price on the morning line at 10-1 for Valerie Lund, who's had a good meet so far at Canterbury. Was 4th last time out. Exits that same race as Armaduro, Sir Sterling, and is going to need pace help. Might get a little bit of pace in here, but it's just the kind of concern as you go down the past performances. 2025 just hasn't been the same year that we saw in 2024.
Running style is really problematic for this horse too. He's not great from the gate. He's always giving away position out of the gate in his races and then having to make up ground, throughout the running. I actually felt like he ran pretty well last time because they tried to get him to make an early move into that race, and it probably wasn't that kind of a race. I still don't think I'd want to bet him off of too many of his other performances, though.
The 5 Triple Pass, we'll take a look at his most recent performance, and that's a race that he was picked out of, claimed for $12,500, and was a compact field, only 5 runners in here. He was dead last early on, but there was a ton of pace in this race for 7 Ace. I mean, they went 45-3 to the half, and he just is able to get up in time to win by a neck. And I think his running style is a little interesting as a talking point, Mike, in terms of he doesn't have to be far off. He could be forward. Maybe he has the jump on others in here, such as Armaduro.
I absolutely can see him getting the right trip in this race, and that might be enough to get him there. I mean, if nothing else, that race that we just watched, the most recent start, it's going to give him a real chance in here. It makes him really, really competitive. I guess the question you have to ask yourself is he going to run it? Is he going to run another race like that? Because that's really the only race that he's ever run that gives him a chance in here. And now he's moving up off the claim for a different trainer.
The 6 Capture the Time at Price on the Morning Line was part of the pace last time out and was involved with Sir Sterling early on, but just tired in there. And now I have some reservations. If this horse is pressured early, can he hold? I don't think so.
Yeah, I agree with you. And I like some of his back races, but his 3 starts since these connections claimed him, I don't like any of them. And to me, he just didn't run nearly as well as Sir Sterling did last time or as well as the winner did either. And they're both back in here.
The 7 Sir Sterling you mentioned, I mean, he did all the dirty work last time out on June 18th. We already looked at the replay. I thought it was a good effort, but I feel like this is a little bit of a habit for him this year, Mike, in terms of, he goes to the front, he comes up short. We've seen that at 6 furlongs, 6.5, 7 ace. It makes him, in my opinion, a horse that you have to use somewhere. I just don't know if you can use him on top.
I'm going to agree with all that. I mean, I really thought he ran well last time. And to me, it was a pretty tough beat for him, but you also go back through some of his other races, and he's got some good ones. It feels like he's probably really best going 6 furlongs. 7 furlongs is really pushing it for him, especially if he has other speed to deal with. And I think that might be the case here as well. I mean, I really respect him. I couldn't quite talk myself into it.
The 8 Dr. Storm gets back to the dirt after a turf win. Has been very competitive in those 2 turf events, one over the firm going, one over a yielding surface. But prior to that, his dirt efforts, I know they're going 2 turns down at Oaklawn Park, but his figures fit, and he's a horse that, again, I think he's handy. Those races have gone pretty slow, though, in the last 2, but he's a curious type, cutting back to 7 A's.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if he's effective as a closing sprinter because he's going to have to be. When I watch him run, I kind of feel like this might really work for him, cutting back in distance. I mean, his 2 turf races are fine, obviously, but I don't care about those races. I'm certain to try to judge him off his dirt races. The 2 dirt starts off the claim at Oaklawn, I thought he ran really well in both of those, actually. And he's sort of, one of those horses sort of on the outside, middle moving in 2-turn races. I can see that really working as he cuts back to 7 furlongs.
If you want to look at the 5th from Canterbury this Wednesday, July 9th, don't forget free pass performances on the DRF website. We will move to our top selections in this race. And, it's a field of 8. It's a really good betting event. I can kind of make a case for maybe 3 or 4 to win it. And you're going to go to the outside, Dr. Storm, who I think one thing's for sure. He's going to offer value compared to the others that we talked about.
That's why I put him on top in here. He's got something to prove as a sprinter, but I think he is going to be a good price in this race. So that sort of led me to put him on top. This race it's more about the horses I don't like than the horses that I do like, actually. The horses that I do like are really the 3 and the 8. And I think the 8's going to be a better price.
All right. Well, one of the horses that you don't like, as they don't make the top 4, is my top pick. And here, the 5 Triple Pass. You bring up a great point. I mean, can he replicate the last out effort? We'll have to see. But I think at 5-1, he offers value. He might get the right trip in here where he's maybe 2 lengths off of it early, where maybe Dr. Storm has to be further back, right? And we talked about the pace in here. Who's going to go for it? But willing to use him here. He's going to take a little bit of a step up in class. But that's why we'll get some value. So 8-3-2-4 for Mike. 5-2-7-8 for me. Race 5 this Wednesday out at Canterbury. Good luck.